Welcome to Oxford, one of the oldest and most beautiful cities in the UK. You probably know it for its famous university, but there's so much more to discover here. If you're looking for that perfect place to visit, whether it's for a day trip or a long weekend, Oxford is a fantastic choice. It's full of rich history, stunning architecture, and plenty of hidden gems. This is a city that inspired Alice's adventures in Wonderland, and the very place where movies like Harry Potter, Wonka and many others were filmed. You'll also find beautiful parks, gardens, riverside walks and cozy little cafes where you can relax. We've even created a free travel guide to help you plan your visit. It's linked below, so make sure to check it out. And for one of the best views of the city, head to the top of St Mary's Church. From there, you'll see why Oxford is famously called the City of Dreaming Spires. Let's start off at Carfax Tower. It's a perfect starting point for your visit to Oxford. First of all, it's right in the city centre, at the crossroads of St Aldate's, Corn Market, Queen and the High Street, so you really can't miss it. And secondly, it's all about the views. The tower itself is pretty simple, but for a small fee, you can climb the 99 steps to the top. From there, you'll get some lovely views over Oxford. Everything from the historic spires to the busy streets below. It's a great way to get your bearings and take some beautiful photos. Apart from the views, there's not much more to see. The tower is actually all that remains of St Martin's Church, which used to be Oxford's main city church, dating all the way back to the 12th century. In 1896, the main part of the church was demolished to make more room for traffic in the area, but the tower still stands as a striking reminder of the city's medieval past. One small but charming detail to look out for is a clock on the east side of the tower. It's flagged by these two little figures called the quarter boys. They strike the bells every 15 minutes, which adds a nice bit of character to the place. Just a quick tip, while the views from Carfax Tower are great, if you're after the best views in Oxford, make sure to check out the University Church of St Mary the Virgin. The view from up there is absolutely stunning, and don't worry, we'll be covering that later on in the video. If you're visiting Oxford and can only choose one college to explore, make it Christ Church. This place has it all: centuries of history, stunning architecture, home to some of the world's most famous minds, and a backdrop for blockbuster movies. It's one of those places that feels magical the moment you walk through the gates. So, a little background. Christ Church was originally founded in 1525 by Cardinal Wolsey, who called it Cardinal College. Then in 1546, Henry VIII took it over and gave it the name we know today, Christ Church. Since then, it has become one of Oxford's most prestigious and historic colleges. Over the centuries, it's educated 13 British Prime Ministers, 17 Archbishops and countless famous writers and philosophers. Many of them have walked through this very great quadrangle, or as most people call it, Tom Quad. It's the largest quad in Oxford. Spacious, grand and simply stunning. There's this calm, almost timeless feel to the place. From the Great Quad, you step into Christ Church Cathedral, which has been a place of worship for nearly 900 years, and inside it's beautiful. But Christ Church isn't just about academics and tradition. You've probably seen it on screen. Harry Potter was filmed here, along with X-Men, The Golden Compass and British TV classics like Inspector Morse and Lewis. And there's more. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland was inspired by this very place. The author Lewis Carroll taught mathematics right here at Christ Church. The college's whimsical details and dreamlike grounds directly inspired elements of his famous story. As you walk through Bodleian Tower and climb the grand hall staircase, you might recognise it. It was featured in the Harry Potter films as the staircase leading up to Hogwarts' Great Hall. At the top of those stairs, you'll find the Great Hall, a magnificent dining space that's been in daily use since the 16th century. Students still eat here today at those long wooden tables, surrounded by walls lined with portraits, celebrating famous members of the college. While the hall wasn't directly used in the films, it famously inspired the look of Hogwarts' own Great Hall. As you continue exploring, you'll wander through the medieval cloister, and yes, these are the actual corridors used in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for some of those classic Hogwarts scenes. And finally, once you've done exploring the college, don't rush off. Just next door are the Christ Church Meadows, one of the most peaceful and beautiful green spaces in Oxford, which brings us nicely to our next point, the meadows. You'll find that Oxford is full of incredible old buildings, but it also has some really beautiful green spaces, and one of the best has to be Christ Church Meadow. It's a peaceful, beautiful open space that's full of natural beauty and historic charm. It's perfect for experiencing a softer, more tranquil side of Oxford, and the best part, it's completely free to visit and open to the public all year round, except for Christmas Day. There are several ways to enter the meadow, but we came in from St Aldate's, which takes you straight into the meadows. Even though you're right in the heart of Oxford, it feels like you step straight into the countryside, with wide open fields all around you, and if you're lucky, you might spot the long-horned cattle grazing, something they've been doing here for centuries, and it really gives the place that classic English countryside feel. As you walk along the tree-lined paths, you end up by the river banks, where Oxford's two rivers, the Thames and the Cherwell, run along either side of the meadow. You'll often see people punting along the River Cherwell, which is such a classic Oxford scene, slow, peaceful, and it's lovely to watch. And over on the Thames, you might catch some students out rowing, training for races. It's a great reminder of Oxford's strong sporting traditions. If you want to get a feel for Oxford, there's nothing better than visiting a great market, and the Covered Market is exactly that. It's a historical indoor market located right in the city centre, with entrances on both High Street and Market Street. It's been around since 1774 and is still going strong today. Inside is a maze of narrow walkways filled with over 50 independent shops, including cafes and market stores. You'll find everything from fresh produce and flowers to quirky shops, delicious baked goods, and an incredible variety of food. Everything from traditional British pies to Chinese, Thai, Lebanese dishes, and so much more. What really makes the market special is its character. It's managed to keep so much of its original Victorian charm, from the beautifully painted ironwork and timber roof to the old-style shop fronts. The whole place has a cosy, welcoming feel, full of personality and old-world charm. It's a perfect spot to grab a bite, do some shopping, or just soak up a bit of authentic Oxford life. If you're after panoramic views of Oxford, head to the University Church of St Mary the Virgin. The view from the top of the tower is absolutely stunning. But before we get to the views, here's a bit of history. St Mary's is the largest parish church in Oxford and has always played a big role in university life. In the early 13th century, as the university grew, students and teachers settled nearby and needed a central meeting place, and St Mary's became just that. It wasn't just a place of worship, it was used for lectures, academic gatherings, and even housed the university's court, treasury and library. That's how it went from being a parish church to becoming the official University Church of Oxford. Now, aside from the history, the church itself is absolutely stunning. The Gothic architecture, tall spires, detailed carvings, and beautiful stained glass windows make it a true medieval masterpiece. It's a beautiful place to visit, even if you don't plan on climbing the tower. That said, for most visitors, the real highlight is the tower. Entry to the church is free, but if you want to climb the tower and take in the views, you need to buy a ticket inside. The climb involves a narrow spiral staircase with 127 steps. Once you reach the top, you'll get incredible views of Oxford spires, rooftops, and historic landmarks. After you've taken in the scenery and made your way back down, there's a vault and garden cafe tucked right alongside the church. It's a lovely spot to take a break, enjoy a drink and grab a bite to eat. If you really want to experience Oxford in the most classic way, I highly recommend going punting. It's one of the most relaxing and enjoyable ways to take in the city's beautiful rivers, and honestly, there's no better way to spend a relaxing afternoon. Punting has been part of Oxford life since the 1860s, so it's not just fun, it's also a bit of local tradition. Now, most people think of Cambridge when they hear about punting, and it makes sense, since the River Cam is famous for it. I made a video about the best things to do in Cambridge, and punting is one of them. I'll drop the link below if you're planning to visit. It's full of great ideas. You'll also notice there's a lot that Oxford and Cambridge have in common. That said, Oxford's got some beautiful punting spots of its own. The two main rivers here, the Thames, which locals often call the Isis, and the River Cherwell are perfect for it. You get to float along these peaceful waters, taking in Oxford's famous views from a totally different perspective. The best time to go punting is between mid-March and mid-October. That's when the season is in full swing. One of the easiest places to rent a punt is right by Magdalen College Bridge at the Magdalen Bridge Boathouse. The route from there is gorgeous. It winds past the university parks and gives you views of some of Oxford's historic colleges. Next up, let's talk about the Bridge of Sighs, and no, not the one in Venice. Oxford has its own version, and while it might be smaller, is every bit as charming. Officially it's called Hertford Bridge, and it stretches over New College Lane, connecting two parts of Hertford College. It was designed by Sir Thomas Jackson and completed in 1914, which makes it pretty new by Oxford standards, but you'll never guess it blends in beautifully with the surrounding architecture. It's named after the famous Bridge of Sighs in Venice because it's said to look similar, though the resemblance is pretty minimal. It's more about capturing that same romantic, timeless feeling, and it really does, with its elegant stone arch and tall windows. It almost feels like something out of a fairy tale. Now, the bridge isn't open to the public, only Hertford students get to walk across it. But honestly, the best view is from below. It's a perfect spot to soak up some classic Oxford charm. Just a short walk from Oxford city centre, you'll find the Botanic Garden, the perfect little green escape. It's actually the oldest botanic garden in the UK, dating all the way back to 1621. Now, even though it's not massive, it's packed with over 5,000 different plant species, which is pretty amazing. The garden is split into three main areas. There's a walled garden, which is the oldest part and full of historic charm. The glass houses, where you'll find everything from tropical to exotic plants, and the lower garden with its beautiful colourful borders. It's a perfect place to slow down, soak up some nature and take a breather from the busy city. If you enjoy visiting museums and art galleries, Oxford has plenty to offer, something for every interest. The University of Oxford alone has 4 main museums that are definitely worth a visit. The Ashmolean Museum, the Museum of Natural History, the Pitt Rivers Museum, and the History of Science Museum. And the best part, they're all completely free to enter. So let's take a look at some of these museums. This is the Ashmolean Museum of Art and Archaeology. It opened in 1683, making it the oldest public museum in the UK. Inside, you'll find 5 floors of incredible art and artifacts from all around the world. Everything from Egyptian mummies and Greek and Roman sculptures, classical and contemporary art, Islamic masterpieces, and much more. It's a fascinating place and definitely worth a visit. Another great museum to check out is the Oxford University Museum of Natural History, and this is it. The building itself is stunning, a classic example of Victorian neo-Gothic architecture. This beautiful building first opened its doors in 1860. Inside, you'll discover an incredible collection of geological and zoological specimens, everything from fossils and skeletons to insects and minerals, with plenty of fascinating exhibits to explore. From the Natural History Museum, you can easily walk straight into the Pitt Rivers Museum. They're actually in the same building, just different sections, so you can easily explore two amazing museums in one visit. The Pitt Rivers is home to over 500,000 objects from around the world. It's famous for its incredible collection of anthropological and archaeological artifacts, everything from ancient tools and weapons to pottery, textiles, masks, and even shrunken heads. There's so much to see that it can feel a bit overwhelming at first, but if you enjoy unusual museums and don't mind a bit of organised chaos, this place is definitely worth a visit. And finally, there's the History of Science Museum, which is actually housed in the world's oldest surviving building that was purpose-built as a public museum. Inside, you'll find an incredible collection of early scientific instruments, and one of its most famous treasures is a blackboard that Albert Einstein used during a lecture here in Oxford back in 1931. Oxford University is made up of 39 colleges, and each one has its own unique history, buildings and student community. It's almost like a small university on its own. Most people tend to visit Christchurch, Magdalen, New College and Trinity because they are known for their stunning architecture, rich history and appearances in movies and travel books. And while these colleges are definitely worth a visit, don't stop there. There are plenty of other colleges that are just as beautiful and often free to visit. One example is Wadham College, which we stumbled upon nearby. The grounds were peaceful, the architecture was gorgeous, and the chapel and gardens were beautiful, and the best part, it was completely free to enter. Wadham is just one example. There are several other colleges you can visit for free, including Brasenose, Corpus Christi, Exeter, Keble and All Souls, just to name a few. Plus, these colleges are usually much less crowded, making for a more relaxed and enjoyable visit. A quick tip. Be sure to check the college websites for up-to-date information on opening times, entrance fees and visitors access. Many colleges close to the public during exam periods or special events, so it's worth planning ahead. The good news, most of the colleges are within walking distance of each other, so if one happens to be closed, chances are there's another one just around the corner. Let me know in the comments below which college you visited. I would love to hear. Oxford libraries are among the most famous in the world. It's not just one single massive library, instead it's a group of 26 different libraries spread across Oxford, making it the largest university library system in the UK. This group is known as the Bodleian Libraries. Many people think of the Bodleian as one library, but it's actually the name for the whole system. At the heart of it is the Bodleian Old Library, founded in 1602 by Sir Thomas Bodley. This historic library is home to two of the most iconic spaces, the Divinity School and Duke Humfrey's Library. Another standout is the Radcliffe Camera, one of the most recognised and photographed buildings in Oxford, which is also part of the Bodleian Libraries. These libraries aren't just famous for their incredible collection of books and manuscripts, but also for their stunning historic buildings, some of which have been in continuous use since the Middle Ages. Many of the libraries are still used every day by students, which means you can't just wander in off the street. If you want to see inside, you need to join a guided tour. There are different tour options available, lasting 30, 60 or 90 minutes, depending on what you want to see. These tours can book up pretty quickly, especially in peak seasons, so it's a good idea to book ahead if you can. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the Bodleian's most iconic libraries in more detail, starting with the Radcliffe Camera. So here we are in Radcliffe Square. It's one of the most beautiful and historic spots in all of Oxford. Everywhere you turn, you're surrounded by stunning old buildings, and right at the centre of it all is one of the city's most iconic landmarks, the Radcliffe Camera. It's a stunning circular building that dates back to the 18th century and is part of the famous Bodleian Library. is still used as a reading room by students today. The name Camera simply means room in Latin, which makes sense because that's exactly what it is, a grand reading room. The building was designed by James Gibbs in the Palladian style, which basically means it was inspired by the symmetry and elegance of ancient Roman and Greek architecture. And if you look up at that dome, it's the third largest in Britain. It rises high above the Oxford skyline. As it's still a working library, it's not open to the general public. The only way to see inside is by booking a guided tour to the Bodleian Library. Even if you don't step inside, simply standing in Radcliffe Square and taking in the view is incredible. This is the Divinity School. It's one of Oxford's most beautiful historic rooms. It's inside the Bodleian Library complex, right in the old school quadrangle. This incredible space was built between 1424 and 1483 and is actually just one large room, but what a room it is. It's one of the oldest surviving purpose-built rooms at Oxford University, and it's a great example of late Gothic architecture. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you'll definitely recognise it. This is where several scenes were filmed, including the Hogwarts Infirmary and Professor McGonagall's dance lesson in the Goblet of Fire. Even though it's part of the Bodleian Library, the Divinity School was never used as a library. It was built to teach theology or divinity, which is where the name comes from. Before you move on, take a moment to look up. The ceiling is one of the building's most impressive features, covered in detailed stone carvings, each one representing someone who helped fund the building. Today, the Divinity School isn't just a beautiful piece of history, it's also one of Oxford's main venues for events, hosting everything from exhibitions and lectures to even weddings. Now, let's take a look at Duke Humfrey's library, a stunning historic reading room that is located on the first floor above the Divinity School. It's actually one of the oldest reading rooms in all of Europe, dating back to the 15th century. The library is named after Duke Humfrey, the younger brother of King Henry V. When he passed away in 1447, he left 281 manuscripts to the university, and this beautiful room was built to house them. And if it looks a little familiar, that's probably because you've seen it before. This is the very library that appeared as the Hogwarts Library in the Harry Potter films, and yes, it's every bit as magical in real life.